Hey everyone, good morning. I'm back. Sorry I missed last week. To be totally honest, you see this giant crater here. Part of the reason I wasn't on video last week, it's still here. I figured we just have to live with it at this point. And yes, even beauty queens get pimples too. Truth about life. All right, but let's talk about Raw last night. So, the last Raw, so weird to think that this is the last Raw, at least for possibly 5 to 10 years, that will ever be on cable television. Just a little nostalgia. I remember I started to watch Raw back in 1994. Online, they did some really, really cute like clips of Raws throughout the years, and I mean, almost 2,000 episodes on it's amazing to think how long Raw has been part of my life, quite honestly. And next week I'll be watching it on Netflix, like y'all. So crazy. Interesting opening up with the New Day. I thought that was kind of cool. I will say I really did like the commentators starting like chatting on like the rail. And I love the little boy being brought up all the time. I thought that was adorable. But really, yeah, I loved the New Day interrupting. I think one of the things I love best right now is like how we are collectively just in on it together. Like the booing of New Day. Like I'll be honest, like my husband who doesn't hasn't watched wrestling as long as me or as invested, I guess, as me, is like I don't get why everyone's mad at New Day. I'm like, well, it was really mean what they did. And we're all booing. And he's like, do you think everyone really cares? I'm like, no, but we are all booing and we're going to boo together because that's what we do. Love the part with Jimmy coming out. I mean, with Jay coming out. When he was getting beat down, sorry, my note I'm looking at is like, where's Jimmy? Because when he was getting beat up, I'm like, where's Jimmy? So I looked at Jimmy too fast. But I liked that little interaction in the ring. I didn't love the video of Solo, but I get why they did it and it worked. The Drew McIntyre coming out from the back, I kind of love that, like, there are so many angles and ways they can go with certain things right now, and I'll talk about with the women's qualifiers because halfway through that first match, I'm like, they could go this way, they could do this. There's so many possibilities right now, which is why I love. So I love the idea of a Jay Drew fight. I love the idea of a little feud for them. Yeah, and I think it's still what I like right now is like you have the bloodline storyline, but everyone kind of still can have their own things going on along the sides. So I kind of love that for Jay. With that, I would say the Chad Gable match. Kind of surprised that Otis didn't win. I guess they're going to continue the storyline along a little longer. Did love how everyone mixed it in. I mean, I love that you saw Otis's dominance in that match. Clearly, he should be the dominant player in that match. And yeah, and I love like the ground and pound by Maxine. I will just say that I love Maxine. I know a lot of people don't like Maxine. I love her. I just think she's fabulous, and I loved that little moment for her. And she just got engaged, so congratulations on that too. Women's qualifiers. So we had 2 women's qualifiers because the finals will be actually in 2 weeks, which is interesting. Again, storyline wise. I really wanted Zoe Stark to win the first one. I just love Zoe as like a performer. I feel like she has so like many amazing qualities and kind of is lost in the shuffle sometimes. So bummed she did not win that one, but like I know I didn't do a video last week, but also Natalya not winning made me very, very angry last week, but I digress. What I originally thought was going to happen, because I'm like, oh, there's so many angles, I thought it ended up being the 2 damage control girls together in the finals. Obviously, that did not happen. We're getting Lyra Vog. I can't ever say her name. You know who I mean, right? Thank you guys. It's early. I don't have enough of this in me yet. I don't have enough coffee. Like, it's just early. In the finals, which could be a really good match, but we still have this like overlying question about like what happened to the other member of damage control. I thought it was going to actually come out that a member of damage control was the person who injured her to get into the tournament. Io Sky, thought they might be turning Io heel, but then I'm thinking like Io's not as great on the mic and they need a mouthpiece, which is like the beauty of damage control. She has mouthpieces for her. I don't know. Again, like I had like during that first match, I'm like, there could be like 5 outcomes of this match, and all of them will send us somewhere else. And I kind of just love that right now of wrestling. With that saying, both those matches were good. It should be a solid match. I'm curious though if next week they'll do anything around like how they got there, because they're saying that that match isn't for 2 weeks. At least that's what my notes say. So we're gonna go with that. Okay. Let's talk about the 3-on-3 tag, the triple tag team match. Tag team. I'm tired, y'all. You know what I mean. I kind of love War Raiders with Damian Priest. I love that last week when they did that little thing. I thought it was a great match. I thought, the heels were being healed. Interesting, we had no Liv Morgan and no Rhea Ripley on the show. That was the one thing I kind of kept waiting to see. And Rhea Ripley was there because he showed her earlier in the day with Damian Priest doing some like PR stuff as the Terror Twins again, which like I feel like just give us more Terror Twins. I know I sound like a broken record, but and I know they're kind of trying to wait until next week to do the big match, but I was kind of shocked I didn't see them doing something. They were doing so much to tease next week and to like really like remind people to move over to Netflix next week that I was shocked they didn't do something with their angle to like remind people again why they should watch next week. With that though, we of course had, it was interesting because my husband and me are watching and he goes, there's like, all they're going to do is talk for the last like 10-15 minutes of the show. And I was like, yes, and it will be amazing. And it was. I mean, it delivered on all cylinders. Not surprised at all. They are 2 of the great promos. It was great. I love the personal end of it. I love the hinting at we know who. I feel like he has become like Voldemort. I am not a huge Harry Potter fan, but I read the books back like when they first came out of the WWE. Like the he who shall not be named, but always hinted at. And I just kind of love that for them. Yeah, so there was a hinting about that. I love the back and forth. And there, I think it was Bubba Ray Dudley said once on a podcast I was listening to of his was, like the best promos have some truth in them. And I think the kernels of truth and the kernels of personal that were put into that promo. If there were any doubt that these 2 men want to like go at it next week, it was laid to rest during those promos. And I think that was what they needed to do. I think they delivered on all cylinders. I think if you don't own Netflix and you're a wrestling fan, you're going to get Netflix to watch that match next week. Because I think, from mentioning Becky Lynch, from mentioning that CM Punk doesn't have children, to like just all of these little jabs and little like message, like mentioning like that he's a cancer. I love that, like the harking back to things that in like people who really really watch wrestling totally understand where a lot of that was coming from. But I think even if you weren't like like even my husband who doesn't get a lot of that, like he didn't understand the CM Punk cancer lines. He didn't he had to look at me about the line about the kids because he was like, I don't get it. But he knew it was a dig, and he knew like he was like digging deep in. So yeah, I think from that, and if you knew, and it was like, oh, even if you didn't know, you could just tell how much those 2 hate each other. Small side note, I took a note. It was Seth Rollins, the first one to blink during the stare down, in case you were wondering. All right, with that, I have a ton of things to do today, and it is the last day of 2024. So I hope you have a wonderful day. Stay safe, and I hope you have a wonderful start to next year. I will be back, I promise you, on Saturday with a review of SmackDown, and I'll talk to y'all soon. And let's talk in the comments, as always. All right, bye.